Right now, without you even noticing, your lungs are pulling in the one invisible thing standing between you and death. Now imagine that thing just disappears. Not slowly, not gradually. Every molecule of oxygen on Earth, gone for exactly 60 seconds. Sounds impossible, right? But scientists have actually run the numbers on what would happen if this nightmare became real. And the answer is far more terrifying than simply everyone holds their breath. Because oxygen isn't just what you breathe, it's the invisible glue holding the entire world together. It's in the concrete beneath skyscrapers, the metal in your phone, the flame in your stove, and the air pressure keeping your ears from popping. So the moment it vanishes, the countdown to catastrophe doesn't start in your lungs, it starts everywhere else all at once. Let's start the clock. Second 0. Oxygen is gone. The first thing to die isn't a person, it's fire. Every candle, every stove burner, every car engine on the planet instantly goes dark because fire isn't magic, it's just oxygen combining violently with fuel. Take away the oxygen and combustion simply cannot exist, which means every airplane engine in the sky, mid-flight, instantly shuts off. Thousands of planes, all at once, become silent gliders falling through empty sky. Second 5. On the ground, every car engine stalls at the exact same moment. Highways full of vehicles instantly become metal graveyards, frozen mid-motion. Meanwhile, deep underground, something even stranger begins. The soil itself starts to crumble because oxygen is actually part of what binds dirt particles together. Second 10. Inside every human body, the real horror finally begins. Your brain, the greediest organ in your body, starts screaming for help. It uses 20% of your oxygen just to keep your thoughts running. Without it, your vision starts to blur and the world tilts sideways. People in the middle of walking simply collapse where they stand. But here's the part almost nobody expects. You wouldn't actually suffocate first. You'd freeze. Because without oxygen, the atmosphere itself would lose the pressure holding it close to Earth. Temperatures would plummet in seconds, turning the surface into an instant deep freeze. Second 20. Buildings begin groaning under invisible stress because oxygen molecules make up a huge chunk of the air pressure pushing on every wall and window. Remove it suddenly, and that pressure balance shatters. Windows across the world begin to crack and burst outward. In hospitals, the horror is even more immediate. Every ventilator, every oxygen tank, every life support machine instantly becomes useless. Patients who depend on it every second of their lives face the cruelest 60 seconds imaginable. Second 30. Halfway through, and the planet is already unrecognizable. Out in the ocean, fish begin floating to the surface, gasping at nothing, because water itself is 1/3 oxygen, and without it, water molecules start breaking apart. Oceans, rivers, even the water inside your own cells begin destabilizing at the atomic level, meaning the very water keeping you alive would start turning against you. Second 40. Your heart is now pounding violently, trying to force blood to organs that have nothing left to give them. Lips turn blue, fingertips go numb. The body enters full survival panic. At this point, most people have already lost consciousness. But strangely, that might be the only thing that saves them, because an unconscious body burns far less oxygen than a panicking one. Second 50. The countdown is almost over, but the planet is falling apart in ways you'd never expect. Bridges built with oxidized steel begin losing structural strength, because that thin oxidized layer is what gives metal its incredible strength in the first place. Without it, entire structures suddenly lose their integrity all at once. Second 55. Almost there, but is there anything left to save? Then, in an instant, oxygen rushes back into existence. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. The sudden return of oxygen would trigger explosions everywhere fuel had been leaking for 60 unstable seconds. Every stalled car engine, every gas line, every leaking pipeline would reignite violently in a single terrifying second. And the planes that have been silently gliding through the sky, their engines would roar back to life, but only if the pilots could restart them in time. On the ground, the unconscious would slowly begin drawing breath again. For some, the 60 seconds would be a story to tell. For others, it would be the last 60 seconds of their lives. The cities would be scarred, the skies would be scattered with wreckage, the oceans would carry the damage for years, all from something you never even think about, something you're doing right now without even trying. 60 seconds. That's all it would take to bring the modern world to its knees, and yet, every single day, that invisible lifeline just keeps working, silently in the background, asking for nothing in return. So here's the question that should stay with you long after this video ends. If you had just 60 seconds left to breathe, what would you do first? Drop your answer in the comments below, because I actually read every single one. And if this made you hold your own breath without realizing it, that's exactly why you need to hit subscribe, because next time, the question won't be, what if oxygen disappears? It'll be something even closer to home and even harder to imagine surviving.